Yo, did Jerome Powell just make a massive Bitcoin backflip? Well, Jay Powell isn't the only G7 central banker who has weighed on Bitcoin in the past 24 hours. But before we explore the global central banker race to Bitcoin and show you just how Jerome Powell's tone has taken a massive shift since Trump was elected, let's play you this brand new clip of Jerome Powell yesterday at the FOMC meeting. And let's just hear how the tone has changed around Bitcoin.
You know, banks are perfectly able to serve crypto customers as long as they understand and can manage the risks, and it's safe and soundness. A good number of our banks that we regulate and supervise do that. You know, the threshold has been a little higher for banks engaging in crypto activities, and that's because they're so new. And you know, we don't want to make the mistake. If you're making a choice to conduct that activity inside a bank, which is inside the federal safety net with deposit insurance, then you want to be pretty sure that it's a safe and sound activity. So, you know, we're not against innovation, and we certainly don't want to take actions that would cause banks to, you know, to terminate customers who are perfectly legal just because of excess risk aversion, maybe related to regulation and super.
Wow, guys, very interesting to see Jerome Powell kind of flip-flop. He's backtracking. I don't know if you guys remember last month, we were playing Jerome Powell essentially saying like, hey, we don't want to talk about Bitcoin. It's illegal for the Fed to even own Bitcoin. Now he's saying, hey, you know, banks under our jurisdiction can custody Bitcoin if they want to. And also, I think the main signal here is this idea of we don't want to stop innovation. Is it just because, you know, the Fed and Jerome Powell is starting to see the light, or is there bigger things playing out? And I have a post here, guys, from Donald Trump's True Social. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you can see that he's feeling a lot of pressure from President Donald Trump. Obviously, since Trump's been elected, he's doing a lot of executive orders. We saw the repeal of SAB 121, which makes it easier for banks to custody Bitcoin. And it seems like, you know, Trump is running a hard line here in regards to the adoption of quote unquote crypto. And now we see the central bankers out there starting to bend the knee. And another interesting development, remember what we talked about yesterday, which is the governor for the Czech National Bank announcing that they're going to look into having a 5% of their reserves going into Bitcoin. Well, in response to that, we got Christine Lagarde from the ECB yesterday, or this morning rather, talking about that, hey, maybe we talked to the head of the Czech National Bank, and we're confident they're not going to add. It literally sounds like a veiled threat. So let's play that real quick before we get into some more central bank news.
On this matter that you referred to, and whether reserves of central bank should or could include Bitcoins, I think there is a view around the table of the Governing Council, and most likely the General Council as well, that reserves have to be liquid, that reserves have to be secure, that they have to be safe, that they should not be plagued by the suspicion of money laundering or other criminal activities. And as a result, I'm confident that reserves will not enter, that Bitcoins will not enter the reserves of any of the central banks of the General Council. I had a good conversation with my colleague from the Czech Republic, and I leave it to him to make whatever announcement he wants to make, but I'm confident that he's convinced, as we all are, of the necessity to have liquid, secure, and safe reserves.
Yo, not gonna lie, it sounds like some mafia tactics here. You know, we had a little conversation, and I'm confident they're not gonna add Bitcoin to their reserves. Just absolutely crazy. Though, before I move on to the recent developments around the Czech National Bank, it is sounding very similar from Christine Lagarde and Jerome Powell that they want a safe way for, customers to put custody and reserves and something that isn't going to be volatile and blow up like Bitcoin, or quote unquote blow up and be like Bitcoin. So again, this morning we got some more news coming from yesterday's story, which is apparently the Czech National Bank, they passed this proposal. Yesterday they were talking about whether, they're going to look into adding 5% of their reserves into Bitcoin. Well, it looks like they are actually moving forward on this. They are assessing options for, quote, broadening investment to include other asset classes. And this governor, he's getting some flack here. We have a Bloomberg article of Czech finance minister warns against adding Bitcoin to reserves because it's, quote, not a stable asset. Absolutely incredible. And then just to round this up, guys, these aren't it's not just the ECB. It's not just Czech Republic. It's not just the US Fed. We just learned this morning, shouts out again to Bitcoin Magazine, that Norway's central bank's fund reveals owning $500 million of MicroStrategy shares. So don't watch what they say, watch what they do. And it looks like the central bank FOMO around Bitcoin is starting to take place. Now, of course, here at Simply Bitcoin, we have the idea of separating money from state, but it is very interesting to see how fast the conversation around Bitcoin is happening. It does seem, ever since Trump got elected, ever since Trump has been proposing and pushing for a strategic Bitcoin reserve, that now the central bankers around the world have to bend the knee. It does sound like some micro capitulation from Jay Powell. A couple months ago, Jay Powell's out here saying like, oh, no, we're not going to touch Bitcoin. We don't want any of our clients to touch Bitcoin. Now he's like, hey, actually, we just want it to be done in a safe way. We got to make sure that the banks that custody Bitcoin are holding something that isn't going to wreck themselves. I'm not against innovation, but he's also not saying he is for innovation yet. And again, this has to be pressure coming from the Trump administration. Obviously, the writing's on the wall now that, hey, if you don't adopt Bitcoin first, then you're going to be last. And we've seen what happens with El Salvador. Bukele's killing it out there. His country is adding Bitcoin to the reserves. Now we've gotten to this point where central banks are even talking about adding Bitcoin to the reserves. Now, as a Bitcoiner, I fundamentally believe in the idea that Bitcoin will defund these central banks. But in the meantime, they have to do something to survive. And if they're having these conversations, and I have a clip for you from Jeff Booth in the numbers about why they're having these conversations, you have to wonder what is going on the back end. How much trouble do these central banks realize that they're in if they are talking about Bitcoin? Now, we all know number go up in Bitcoin is great. This is why they're looking for profits. This is why they're looking to add Bitcoin to their reserves. But it does enter us into a new paradigm. Like, could you have guessed? I'm actually pass this to Adam. Could you have guessed when you got into Bitcoin that we would see the biggest central banks in the world starting to embrace Bitcoin, at least tentatively? At least they're no longer like it's just for criminals, though they still are saying, hey, we don't want our central bank partners to add an asset into their balance sheet that is, fundamentally pushing criminals and money laundering and stuff. But it seems like they're being forced to actually look at Bitcoin honestly. So very interesting developments. Obviously, we want individuals holding Bitcoin. I want to defund the central banks. I don't want them to add Bitcoin to their balance sheet, but this is where we are right now. They're talking about adding Bitcoin to the balance sheet. It's absolutely crazy. And this is all, love them or hate them, but this is all because Trump came out really strong for a pro-Bitcoin administration. So crazy things happening right now. We'll see what actually follows through. We'll see who is the first one to actually adopt Bitcoin. There's still a lot of conversations around that, but what a crazy time. So Adam, you've been in the game a little longer than I have. What's your thoughts hearing central bankers talking about Bitcoin in a seemingly positive light?
Dude, I mean, in hindsight, it probably seemed inevitable. Bitcoin is perfect money all the way around. And obviously the central banks have to pretend to like perfect money so they don't let their scam be exposed. But I think it's hilarious to watch what these different massive G7 central banks are, how they respond to Bitcoin goes to show just how much volatility there is in the world in their responses to it. We have the American central bank saying one thing. We have the European central bank saying almost the opposite thing. I would also love to see the chart of Bitcoin used for money laundering compared to the euro used for money laundering. If I had to guess, I'd probably say for every $1 laundered in Bitcoin. There's probably like $10 to $15 laundered with the euro. All around, the euro is just infinitely worse than Bitcoin. And it's laughable that these people have the audacity to lie to us to our face. They either think we're dumb or they themselves are dumb. And I think that it's just getting reiterated over and over and over again how irresponsible and selfish these buffoons in charge are. And I think why Bitcoin is succeeding is because no one's in charge. And I think it's great. I think that you're right. Ultimately, the central banks disappear. Bitcoin doesn't need a central bank. Bitcoin is the central bank. It is a protocol, not a platform. It cannot be bought. It cannot be manipulated. It is the absolute source of truth for our money, for the value that we create with our time. And that's a good thing. I think that watching these quasi-fake, wannabe real banks, central banks come in and try to disprove it just goes to show how scared they are. I can't get Saifedean's voice out of my head, which is that the adoption of Bitcoin is not some cute little S-curve like the internet. It is a straight vertical line up like gunpowder. If you did not adopt gunpowder during the wars, you died. We don't know about you because the history books forgot about you because you didn't adopt the new, obviously better technology. If you were fighting with sticks and knives during, and your opponents are launching bullets at you with fire and gunpowder, you just lost. And right now we have the next innovation. We have the gunpowder. We have the bullets, and they're still using like dull wooden sticks. And so I think it's inevitable. Bitcoin puts everyone in competition with each other. And again, this is positive. This is a net pro for humanity. This is a net pro for society as a whole. But I wouldn't want to be caught on the wrong side of it.
And it looks like they are kind of realizing that they are on the wrong side of it. It's interesting, and then I'm going to pass it to Sophie. Sorry, Soph, but it's very interesting to see so many people just double down on their ignorance around Bitcoin, and it reminds me of what's the Sinclair quote? It's hard to convince someone of something when it's their job to do the opposite. I'm butchering the quote here, but this is where we are right now. The confirmation bias, the Stockholm syndrome that we're seeing play out in real time is absolutely insane to watch. A lot of us Bitcoiners learned about the traditional financial system after we learned about Bitcoin. And it's just so clear. Once you understand Bitcoin, you look at all the stuff coming out from central banks and traditional finance, and you're like, this stuff is ass backwards. Like, who in their right mind can do the mental gymnastics to make this seem like it's a positive thing? Obviously, there's a lot of spin out there, but look, if they're publicly saying this stuff, you can only imagine what they're saying privately. And hey, if they're publicly kind of tentatively embracing Bitcoin, I'm sure privately they are freaking out and they're like, yo, Bitcoin is eating our lunch. I forget what the numbers are now, but there's 600 million people that are, on the Bitcoin or crypto networks. And it seems like it's starting to take over the world. And if Bitcoin does an incredible price run this year, it's going to be very interesting to see how quickly these central banks capitulate.
Dude, could you imagine? I think I saw a tweet this morning. I don't know who said it, but imagine being the last governor to adopt Bitcoin or to buy Bitcoin. Like, you're just going to look so stupid. It's just going to be dumb.
Insane. Okay, Soph. We figured out Soph's video and audio today. So, Sophie, what's your thoughts on seeing the central bankers come out, kind of embracing Bitcoin, but also kind of fighting around Bitcoin? You can see that what we always talk about here, the global hash war, the global race to adopt Bitcoin, it's happening on a central bank level, and they're fighting each other. You can see their rhetoric is going past each other. So, what's your thoughts hearing not only just Fed, Jerome Powell talking positively about Bitcoin, but also, ECB, Chrissy Lagarde, my ex-girlfriend Chrissy Lagarde.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, Opti. Be honest. You for sure got a late night text from your ex-girlfriend, Chrissy Lagarde. Number go up, girlfriends go up. It's directly correlated. But my take on this is that part of the value of these institutions and central banks is perception. And since they've lost control of the media, they've forced themselves to align with the truth. And when you align with the truth and you see the cards on the table and you realize that you can no longer manipulate the masses, you can no longer just tell them, hey, buy our central bank digital currency. It'll be good for you. It's going to make your life easier. You will own nothing and be happy. When you realize that people are just not going to buy that because they're no longer listening to legacy media because you are the media now, then they have to capitulate. They have to actually come to terms with the fact that they have to adapt or die. And adapting is adopting Bitcoin.
Yeah, 100%. But as we can see, the dinosaurs are going to try to hold on for as long as possible. And if there is a quintessential dinosaur out there, it's obviously the central bank. And as anyone can tell from the stuff we see coming out of the EU, they are, so hell-bent on control that it's becoming so obvious to obviously Bitcoiners, but all they care about is control. So it's very interesting to, as a Bitcoiner, see this, but I really wonder what the normies are thinking about, these ECB talks and banning Bitcoin in EU. And also, we didn't cover it this week, but France proposing, I think it was 25% unrealized capital gains on Bitcoin. It's like,
good luck.
Yeah, they're shooting themselves in the foot. It's absolutely insane the type of rhetoric we're seeing come out from these people. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts.
But on that same token, I think that the normies, from the perspective of these people who are in power and in these central banks, I think they see us plebs as the normies. And I think that enough of us have adopted Bitcoin and kind of like opted out of their system for us to have power over them and for them to have to actually align with us. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the outer layers of the onion, starting with government and going into these institutions. Next up is retail, and next it'll be the individual. And they're all kind of like coming to terms with the fact that Bitcoin is hard money. It is going to win at the end of the day, and it's the scarcest asset in the world.
So the chat's still freaking out, Sophie. Guys, this is Internet Sophie, aka Mrs. Nico. This is his wife. She's a great Bitcoiner. She's also way more radical than Nico. She's gonna fill in every once in a while. Nico's in El Salvador
to be toned down.
Now. Yeah, we got to tone her down a little bit. So
Unhinged.
Guys, keep the simping to a minimum here. She is taken. All right. So, anyways, let's get into the rest of the show. We got a bunch of stuff for you. Like I said in the numbers, we have Jeff Booth basically explaining why we're seeing central banks starting to embrace Bitcoin, why the biggest institutions in the world are embracing Bitcoin. And in the news, we got interesting stories coming out of Tesla and, a lot of must news today and Twitter. And then Adam's going to show us some cool stuff that Bitcoin Well has been working on, maybe get some sneak peeks here. I know Adam wants to do some wishing well stuff. So you guys get your lightning wallets out. Anyways, let's plug our boys over at Bitcoin Well. Make sure you go to bitcoinwell.com. They are enabling independence. You need to set up a Bitcoin Well account because I think they're one of the correct me here, Adam. Is it the only company, the only Bitcoin exchange out there with self-custody by default, which means they can never rug pull you guys. So you need to have a Bitcoin wallet to sign up to Bitcoin Well. The Bitcoin goes directly to you. You're never going to get rugged at Bitcoin Well. This is why we love the boys over at Bitcoin Well. Make sure you use the promo code SimplyBTC. And of course, if you are in the market to buy a shit ton of Bitcoin, get in touch with the Bitcoin Well Infinite and their Bitcoin OTC desk. They will get you huge chunks of Bitcoin. So if you're sitting on the sideline, you want to buy $50,000 or more of Bitcoin at one chunk, and make sure you get in touch with the Bitcoin Well Infinite team. They will give you a white glove service, walk you through the whole process. And guys, I know you've been yelling at me. I do have some wishing well points for you just to start off the show. So get your lightning wallets out. First come, first serve. Wait. Wrong one. Here we go. Make sure you scan the QR code, and first one to scan it gets 210 sats. Okay.
We got to keep going. Do one more. We'll do more later.
We'll do one more. We'll do more for you guys later as well.
Bitcoin going up too much. We got to We got to get more stats.
Wait, Bitcoin wishing well is going to bankrupt Bitcoin well. There we go. Okay, 2,100 sats. Good call, Adam. All right, guys, let's get into the show. We have a lot to talk about.
I want to tell you guys about our sponsor, Stampseed. Is your Bitcoin in cold storage really secure? Are your seed words really secure? Stampseed's do-it-yourself kit has everything you'll need to hammer your seed words into commercial-grade titanium plates instead of writing them down on paper. Don't do that. Paper sucks. You want to literally stamp your seed into this plate of titanium. Your words are actually stamped into the metal plate with this hammer. So once your words are in, they aren't going anywhere. No risk of the plate breaking apart and your pieces falling everywhere. Titanium stamp seeds will survive nearly triple the heat produced by a house fire. They are also crush-proof, waterproof, non-corrosive, and most importantly, because this is generational wealth, time-proof. All things that paper is not, allowing you to hodl your Bitcoin for the long haul. I mean, here is the plate that they crushed. They put in water, they put a blowtorch to it, and as you can see, the words have survived. Stamp your seed on Stampseed. And you can use promo code SIMPLY to get 15% off anything on their store.
All right, guys, make sure you scan the QR code, stamp your seed into titanium, and use the promo code SIMPLY for 15% off. Do not leave your seed phrase on a piece of paper in your sock drawer. I know that's what all you guys are doing. Don't do that. Okay, anyways, we're over here on Clark Moody's dashboard looking at the Bitcoin numbers, and the current Bitcoin price is 105,160. I think we got all the way up to 106 this morning. So, hey, I think once we break out of this, 108 range, game is on. Let's go. Anyways, the sats per dollar, aka how much Bitcoin you can buy for a single dollar, aka how much a dollar is worth in Bitcoin, is currently at 951 sats per dollar. The current block height is 881,522. The market cap in fiat terms is $2.08 trillion. And the Bitcoin versus gold market cap is currently at 10.82%. Man, we got 90% still to run until we take out gold. So numbers going up. Anyways, the total percentage of Bitcoin that will ever be issued is currently at 94.36%, with roughly 19.8 million coins circulating. And the realized monetary inflation, literally taking all fiat currencies to school, is currently at 1.04%. The hardest money, period. Nothing comes close to it. This is why you can't save in fiat currencies. Now, doubling down, kind of connecting this, there was a lot of stuff I could have put in the numbers. I was thinking about it this morning, but really to kind of explain why central banks and why institutional managers and why nation state leaders are looking to Bitcoin is one simple idea that Jeff Booth is going to explain in this. And shout out to TFTC because it sums it up like this: the global economy is insolvent and Bitcoin is the only escape. So let's play this real quick, and then we will chat about it.
The global balance sheet in assets, the asset value, I'm not going to go through them all, between your brand, your financial assets, your tangible assets, looks like that. Everything you measure is in there. This conference hall, your house, every business is in that number, 900 trillion. It's backed by that. 323 trillion of debt today. By the way, the 200 trillion of liabilities against derivatives, 65 trillion of 2 years ago, the Bank of International Settlements found 65 trillion that was missing in off-balance sheets transactions. So let's just clear the room here. That is already insolvent. If you tried to pay back 400 trillion, it would take you $1 a second. It would take you 12,873,000 years to pay that back. It is already insolvent. But what does that mean if you're measuring your assets on top of that? What does it mean? It means all of your assets are also insolvent, because if that went insolvent, the whole thing would fail. The global system would crumble to the ground completely. And so what do you do inside that system? What do you likely do inside that system? You likely complain about it and give it more energy. You probably talk about all the politicians stealing your money, and then you buy a house, and then you're because you have to make more money in this, and then you're complaining about all those people inside that system, but you would not vote to let it collapse, nor would I. We wouldn't do that. So it becomes hypocritical when we're fighting inside that system because we're all a part of it, right? I'm fond of saying there is no they, it's only we, and we make that system stronger from our actions within it. The problem is that system is insolvent. And so so what would your asset of your house be if that system actually was allowed to fail? So you won't let it. So now we have two kind of big problems, big opportunities problems. These two systems are incompatible. They're opposites, right? So one system, free market that we talked about, that we know is true, and the other system that we live in and measure from, every asset in there is contingent upon more money printing. Contingent. In other words, there's counterparty risk of everything in our life on that, and there's no counterparty risk on Bitcoin. It is the only thing on the planet, because it's an open, decentralized, secure protocol bounded by energy without counterparty risk.
Amazing. Guys, this is why we need Bitcoin. This is why everyone is moving towards talking about Bitcoin. This is why anyone in the know realizes that there's a problem. And again, let me just reiterate the quote. This is Sinclair. It is difficult to get a man to understand something when his salary depends on his not understanding it. Now, Jeff Booth, obviously very eloquent, very deep dive on all this stuff. But that is the simple fundamental breakdown that we're seeing right now, that everyone that is a part of the traditional financial system is incentivized to keep the system going, or else they become broke. The system is insolvent. It's been insolvent for years, and now the problem is just rearing its head. And also because of social media and the fact that we can all talk about this and people can, communicate peer-to-peer, more people are waking up to the fact that all of this whole system, the whole entire world is insolvent right now. It's all based on paper debt. And we're getting to a point where, it's make or break. We're getting to who knows how long they can kick the can down the road. I'm sure they got some more tricks up their sleeve. I'm sure, the masses might be able to get gaslit into believing the system is still actually functional. But the basis of it is the entire world is insolvent right now. No one wants to stop the music, because that means that all of their assets go to zero. It means all the wealthy people become poor. No one wants to lose their standard of living. And I personally, I don't want to see that happen, because that means the world's going to go to shit. I want to see a slow, gradual adoption of Bitcoin. Obviously, we want to see number go up in Bitcoin. We want to see freedom go up in Bitcoin. But if the music does finally stop on the traditional financial system, it's going to wreak havoc on the world. And this is where we are right now. That, look, maybe the central bankers out there aren't necessarily the bad guys here. Maybe they actually are trying to protect consumers. They are trying to keep the system going. Maybe they haven't looked into an alternative system like Bitcoin, but there is an alternative now. And of course, that is Bitcoin. And we're seeing that people are waking up. It's essentially, you want to be the first one to exit the door when your house is on fire. You don't want to be the last one. And Adam was kind of joking about it. It's like, I don't want to be the last central bank governor or president to adopt Bitcoin, because you're going to lose. But this is where we are. The world is insolvent, but no one wants to actually kind of talk about it, because then the house of cards might collapse. So slowly but surely, we're just going to get more people to adopt Bitcoin, but we have to constantly come out here and explain to people the actual problem going on. This is why Bitcoiners always say, fix the money, fix the world. It's a very simple meme, but that is the fundamental problem in the world right now, is that the money is broken. The financial system is insolvent, and we have to find an alternative. And we think the alternative is Bitcoin. And all you have to do is buy some Bitcoin, take it into custody, go live your life, repeat the process. It's a very simple process here. But hey, we all know the people with the big bags, the people with the monopoly on violence, they're going to continue to perpetuate the financial system, because they are incentivized to profit off of this. And this is the whole scam of the world right now. So guys, this is why we kind of paired these two topics together. The central bankers seemingly embracing Bitcoin, also fighting around Bitcoin, and Jeff Booth explaining to us the global economy is insolvent. So I don't know about you, but this would make me want to stack more Bitcoin. If I actually had fiat left, if I wasn't already all in on Bitcoin, I would be capitulating my dollars as quickly as possible. Anyways, I'm ranting enough. I'm losing my breath over here. I'm gonna
I think that's what Saylor figured out. He's like, let me just keep putting all my fiat into Bitcoin and you know, pumping my own bags. But one of the things I'm going to disagree with you on, Opti, is you said slow, sudden adoption or slow and gradual adoption of Bitcoin. I want to see a fast and sudden adoption of Bitcoin, because every day that passes, we're growing poorer and poorer. And despite popular belief, it's not fun. It actually creates a lot of wars. And I think that what President Trump is doing right now with backing the strategic Bitcoin reserve that Senator Cynthia Lummis is already passing through Congress is a direct reversal of the system that we have, where we depend on money printing and debt to sustain fiat. I think that eventually, you know, the same people that want money to create war are realizing that they're actually going to need Bitcoin to fund wars. But in reality, once they have Bitcoin, they're going to realize, damn, I don't want to spend this. Maybe I should not go to war with this country. Maybe there's a more diplomatic way of solving these issues. And so I just can't wait to see how that is going to turn out. I think that this Bitcoin strategic reserve, like I said, is a direct reversal of the system that we've been living on. And as soon as the country adopts Bitcoin, as soon as we get on the same standard as El Salvador, we are going to be so much happier for it. Our economy is just going to flourish, and people are going to adopt that system for themselves.
Yeah, I totally agree, though. The reason I kind of would like to see a slower adoption of Bitcoin, obviously, I want to see, number go up. Look, I'm not ashamed to say I want to see number go up anymore, but I think a slow adoption of Bitcoin would just be a lot better for all the people that aren't in Bitcoin. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. And that's like kind of where my logic goes.
Even if we put the number go up aside, right? I think that the faster we all get on board, the faster even people who like are supposedly like going to stay behind are going to also get on board. People who have a lot of Bitcoin are going to want to spend it. Employment is going to go up. People are going to start paying their employees with Bitcoin, or so we hope. And so I think that, the faster we get this done, the faster it will be cemented into the consciousness of society. And we'll be able to, maybe it'll be a little bit of a rough start, and there will be people who push back against it. But I think the faster we get through this, the faster we implement it, the faster we can get to hyper Bitcoinization. I'm radical, totally. Remember?
Yeah, you're radical. I mean,
radical.
The idea is, it just reminds me of when you talk to normies about Bitcoin today. Most of them are still like, what are you even talking about? You're like, this is crazy. So I don't see a path where we get there quickly without just like forcing people to buy Bitcoin. And, as a semi-libertarian, I'm like, I don't like the forceful behaviors
I would rather be forced to buy Bitcoin through these measures than to be forced to buy Bitcoin because the world has completely gone in the gutter.
Yeah.
Imagine if you would have to buy Bitcoin to survive, to survive like either a nuclear war or something where like, we absolutely need Bitcoin because things have gotten so bad that now we need Bitcoin. But imagine now it's like, oh, the country has adopted Bitcoin. This is a positive thing. So I better get on board. I think that that's a much better way to force people and to get people to adopt Bitcoin, because you're doing it on positivity versus death and destruction.
That's the key.
Totally.
I think for Bitcoiners, the best thing that we have going for us is that every single Bitcoiner that I talk to has low time preference and prefers peace. And I think that when you, like you're saying, Sophie, when you adopt this Bitcoin standard, you ultimately want to see people thrive. And you understand that the thing holding them under the water right now is this manipulated monetary force. And I think that what we have to prepare for as Bitcoiners who want peace with a low time preference is there going to be a pile of people who get caught in this savage undercurrent that fiat is currently enabling. I think you're bang on. Every single day the fiat system is around is one more day where there's more people getting sicker and poorer. and digging a hole that's deeper for them to get out of. What we need to prep for right now starting immediately, every single one of these people watching this show and in the Bitcoin landscape is we need to start building the life vests for when people who have their entire net worth stuck in a house or their entire net worth stuck in a 401k or some other kind of, garbage investment scheme, like some kind of life insurance policy or any of the other scams that we've been sold in the place of fiat or as a result of fiat and in the place of sound money. We need to prepare and kind of understand how do we, get those people onto the Bitcoin standard once their net worth is gone. And it's going to transition towards this incredible value for value state. And the next generation is going to benefit greatly from that, only because, though, there's a group of pro-peace and ultimately low time preference individuals here that want to enable and help the sovereignty of the future.
Yeah, totally. It is very crazy how, Bitcoiners kind of get spit in the face by everyone out there, and we're literally just trying to help them. It's like we're trying to help you. Like, we've unplugged, we're probably wealthier than we've ever been, and everyone's like, quit trying to show me this crap. And you're like, okay, dude, bro.
That's so something you just said, though, wealthier than we've ever been. That is historically how it's always been, because you have more time to accumulate. Like, you work hard when you're young, you spend less than you earn, and then every single decade that passes by, you should be wealthier than you've ever been. This is for the last 2,000 years, this is how it's worked. Only, since 1913 and then 1971, only then did people start getting less wealthy as they went on, because cost of living started outpacing their ability to save. And now I know that, like, my peers, we don't even talk about saving anymore. Savings is long gone. It's either survival or investing. And frankly, you guys have heard me say it here before. Investing is just another word for gambling. And frankly, in Canada anyways, gambling is tax-free. So you're literally incentivized to go to the casino rather than invest your money. It is such a perverted system that doesn't enable sovereignty, doesn't enable individuals to thrive. It's just some loopy, gaslit, complete backwards monetary system that lots of people have been brainwashed into. And I think it's our job right now to, we got to ride the line. You've heard me take issue before with toxic Marxism. I liken it to a street corner preacher, but even I'm trying to find the line. We have to alert these people and wake these people up. But how do we do that without sounding insane? It's
by
tough.
Force.
Yeah.
We force them.
Okay, Sophie. Okay, chill. We're on YouTube. Oh man, that's so good. No, actually, just to put a bow on this, I did see someone tweet the other day, and I forget what the Twitter name is, and he's loosely a Bitcoin, he is a Bitcoiner, but he kind of talks about more of the macro landscape. And I think I might have mentioned this at some point this week, but it's the idea of it is our duty to continue to try to wake people up. We have this certain understanding, this certain knowledge of the world going on. And as much as us Bitcoiners, I kind of done it in my personal life where I've kind of tuned out trying to shill Bitcoin a lot in my personal life, because I do it every single day on the show. It's my job. And I try not to blow up conversations with just massive Bitcoin shills, but I still do believe it's our duty to continue to try to educate people, try to spread this knowledge and show people there is an alternative, or else what's the alternative? You get richer and everyone around you is just in destitute, and pain. It's that's not the world I want to live in. But hey, to each their own, and that's kind of the way we're going. We can't all be a radical like Sophie and being we got to put them in camps and enforce them.
No, listen, I can't tell you how many of my friends I have told, download Cash App right now, buy some Bitcoin right now, because that's just the easiest way to get their feet in the water. And 3 months later, I'm see, Bitcoin is up. This happened the last cycle, and I was you see, it went up. They're yeah, I sold. I'm what did you do? But I told you to hold.
They're wrapped up in this investment mindset.
Which is exactly like you said, it's gambling.
get on the rat race, on the treadmill, move, 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 move. And really, you know, we got to show them that, like, what are you exiting for? What could you possibly be selling Bitcoin to buy? And when you start pricing literally everything in Bitcoin, it falls. It falls so dramatically. It's brutal. Actually, the only thing that you can really invest in, I think, that would go up would be in yourself, which again, perfectly aligns incentives for the entire world, because then you get to provide more value to the world and earn more value in return. It's like, this is where the quote comes from: fix the money, fix the world. When you align incentives completely from A to Z, then you actually have the ability to have a world that's getting value.
A to Z. Wow. You know, you sound like an American, but really you're still a Canadian, bro. Jeez.
A to Z. What? Oh, Z.
All right, guys.
I gotta work on my Yank speech.
Yeah, whoa, hey. Don't say derogatory terms on this show. This is a very inclusive show here, okay?
What are you talking about, Opti? The Yankees are an American institution.
Yeah. Anyways, we got some Musk saga in the news today. So let's get into that and break everything down for you guys. Here we go.
I want to give a very special shout out to our sponsor, Compass Mining. They make Bitcoin mining accessible to everyone, from beginners to experienced investors. Their turnkey miners gets you online and hashing within 48 hours, making it easier than ever to start your mining journey. Plus, with their active marketplace, you can resell your miner at any time, adding flexibility and value to your investment. Visit their website to access a wealth of resources, learning everything you need to know about Bitcoin mining. Take your first step into the world of Bitcoin mining with confidence. Discover more at compassmining.io. Again, compassmining.io, and see how Compass Mining can power your success. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Foundation. It's self-custody done right. They built a premium grade hardware wallet called Passport right here in the US, and it integrates seamlessly with their free app called Envoy. Passport is fully open source and verifiable. It's the most intuitive Bitcoin wallet designed with a UX reminiscent of a classic feature phone, so you'll know how to navigate it and use it the moment you pick it up. It's also air-gapped, meaning Bitcoin stays offline, never touching an internet connection. It's Bitcoin only, open source verifiable, air-gap security model, gorgeous design craft, premium grade materials. Get your Bitcoin off exchanges and into your own hands in just a few minutes with Passport at foundation.xyz/simply. Get peace of mind.
It's good to have Nico back. Scan the QR code. Make sure you get yourself a beautiful Passport by Foundation, completely open source. And I keep saying this, and I haven't actually tried it, but this connected with Envoy, it literally feels grandma friendly. So someone out there, please force their grandma to use a Passport connected to Envoy and report back to me. Fact check me in the chat. They're so simple. Anyway, scan the QR code right here. And get yourself a Passport by Foundation, and you can use the promo code simply to get a discount. Here we go. All right, guys. So as I was telling you guys, we have a few sagas. I'm gonna kind of connect a few different stories. Actually, I'm gonna do the main story, and then if I have enough time, I'll get to another my story. So the main story here, guys, is surrounding Tesla. So let me pull this up. I'm here in Tesla's earning quarterly update deck for 2024 Q4. And, you know, we're not going to talk about Tesla. This is not a Tesla show. But even though Tesla, in the normie news, if you were reading some headlines around this Tesla quarterly report, it may have looked like Tesla's, automotive output is down. There's a kind of a lot of FUD around the Tesla quarterly report. But for us Bitcoiners, there was a very, very big nugget in this. And so what am I talking about? You can see here, profitability. We're not going to go over everything, but you can see 7.1 billion GAAP net income in 2024 and 2.3 billion in Q4, including a 0.6 billion mark-to-market gain on digital assets. wallet. Now, for you guys, that don't know what the hell that means, essentially that means that Tesla has implemented the FASB accounting rules surrounding the Bitcoin that they are hodling. So as you remember, FASB accounting rules just went into effect in December. It looks like Tesla has implemented this, and they essentially have increased their earnings this quarter from unrealized Bitcoin gains by 26%. So now that this stuff is happening, now we're getting more receipts out there, more points showing us that, hey, adding Bitcoin to your balance sheet isn't going to just be a detriment to your earnings report. You can actually claim the unrealized gains on your Bitcoin. And actually, Adam, you were given a good TLDR for Sophie before the show. Can you explain in the simple terms that you did for Sophie for the audience what the FASB accounting rule change actually means for a company?
Yo, don't lie, Opti. That was for you, bro. That was me explaining it simply for you. Now, listen, before FASB or with the FASB rules, you could buy Bitcoin at 50K. And if Bitcoin went to 100K, you couldn't show that on your balance sheet. So basically, your balance sheet is all of your assets. If you have a house, or let's say you have an office building, you have cash, and you have Bitcoin, you weren't allowed to show the increased value of your Bitcoin, which meant your assets continued to look like garbage, even though in real terms, in actual value held by the company, that was the opposite case because you had Bitcoin that was appreciating in value. But what you could do is mark it down in value. So basically, it was a weird accounting rule that only allowed you to mark your assets down, which frankly does investors a disservice. I don't know who thought that was a good idea ever. I can't figure out the first basic principle other than, oh, hey, we're measuring garbage fake money anyways. May as well put some garbage fake rules around it. But now that that's gone, we see Tesla, who bought Bitcoin, 4 years ago at like 20K, something crazy. They now get to massively increase the value of those Bitcoin on their balance sheet, which basically shows a high-level investor who looks at three things. How much money do they make? How much money do they have? And what does the future of this business look like? Now, the how much money do they have changes completely because they actually have Bitcoin that is valued properly on their balance sheet. This was a massive barrier to other companies holding Bitcoin before because it's like, why would I buy something if I can't show my shareholders the value that it actually is? Imagine a company measured on a quarter by quarter basis not being able to show the real value of something on a quarter by quarter basis. Doesn't make sense. So now people seeing Tesla and MicroStrategies showing their real value of Bitcoin on the balance sheet, padding their balance sheets, it's going to be a great thing.
Yeah, this is huge. This is why we've been telling you guys constantly, we've done a couple videos on this. Saylor's been predicting that the three things needed to happen for $5 million Bitcoin is one, the Bitcoin ETFs, the FASB accounting rules, which is this is what this story is about. And then, of course, banks custodying Bitcoin. And we actually kind of connected all of those today. No one wants to talk about the ETFs anymore, but repealing SAB 121 was huge. Now we got another report here coming out of Tesla's quarterly earnings. They're using the FASB accounting rules. They're implementing it. They claimed $600 million on their earnings. Literally 26% of their earnings were their unrealized capital gains tax, unrealized capital gains on their Bitcoin. And this made their stock pump up by 5% in after hours trading, which I know for us Bitcoiners, like 5% is like, yeah, whatever. Like, who cares? 5% on NASDAQ is like, that's a big deal. And they added $60 billion of shareholder value, 100x multiple on their BTC. Like, this is crazy stuff. Now, moving forward a little bit, Parker Lewis did some back of the napkin math, and he goes, by my math, Tesla sold roughly 75% of its Bitcoin. So if they have kept that, if they didn't sell that Bitcoin, this would have been a $2.4 billion increase had they just hold that Bitcoin. So absolutely insane numbers going on, right? Like, this is going to blow the game open around Bitcoin and corporations adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. So this is a big news story. Now, Adam, I do have another story here. Do you want to chime in here real quick? You want to add to this, or you want to move on to the next Musk related story, and we can kind of roll them all in together?
Let's roll it, man. Let's see what you got.
All right. So this is Musk with Tesla. And we all know, Musk is kind of, he's been skirting around Bitcoin for a long time. He's got the Doge meme around the, Department of Government Efficiency. He kind of tweeted about Bitcoin the other week, seemingly a little more pro-favor around Bitcoin. He was tweeting about Ross. He's been tweeting about Roger Ver. So obviously he's having these conversations around Bitcoin. Well, a recent news came out around, the quote unquote X Everything app. And this is, I'm going to butcher her last name, Linda Yaccarino, I think it is.
That was good.
Yeah, that was great. All right, awesome. I can speak today. So she wrote out this week that they are moving forward on their quote unquote X Money app or X Money Payments, X Everything app. But there's a glaring omission here, but they are trying to use the narrative and rhetoric around Bitcoin. So here we go, her tweet. Another milestone for the Everything app. Visa is our first partner for the X Money account, which will debut later this year. It allows for secure plus instant funding to your X wallet via Visa Direct. It connects you to your debit card, allowing P2P payments. Interesting use of verbiage there. Options to instantly transfer funds to your bank account. First, a big announcement about X Money this year. And then, here's the Visa post here. We're excited to partner with X Money on the launch of X Money account. Visa Direct will make it possible for US X Money account users to fund and transfer money in real time with their debit card. Now, of course, they mentioned P2P. Now, there is glaring omissions, and I would look for this. There is no talks about it being with Bitcoin. Obviously, we've been talking about this for a while. I think if Twitter did actually implement their X Money Everything app with Bitcoin, that would be a total game changer. But it looks like they're going down the traditional financial route. So it's very interesting when you compare the two different companies. We have Tesla, using FASB accounting rules to mark up their earnings and their reserves with Bitcoin. We have X Money coming out, seemingly omitting Bitcoin, doing some form of peer-to-peer. I think I saw some more intricacies on this, and it seems like they might be implementing some form of stable coin to back this X Money Payments Everything app. They're going to be using Visa. Visa, obviously, for a long time has been kind of working with stable coins and quote-unquote blockchains. They're treating Bitcoin kind of like it's hazardous material over here. But if Twitter really wanted to change the game, they should be adding Bitcoin to this. So a lot of news coming out of Musk, or rather Musk related companies around Bitcoin, or some omissions of Bitcoin. But the big tale for me is, as much as I would like to believe that Twitter or X is on the fight for free speech, there is kind of some growing concerns around what is going on with Musk. And I'm not here to shit on Musk here, but he has been a little bit maniacal on Twitter.
He's so tragically human.
Yeah, he's exactly
so tragically human.
If you don't agree with Musk, it seems like you might be losing your blue check marks and, your monetization. Now, send that down and go to the logical conclusion here. If he's doing that on the Twitter platform, I'm sure that's going to happen with the X Money platforms as well. Obviously, we would love to see just Bitcoin natively implemented into Twitter. That would be the real game changer here. But it looks like they're going to be using just traditional financial tools to implement this X Money app. But it is interesting that they are using, some Bitcoin memes here, peer-to-peer payments.
Now,
I think, what are these peer-to-peer payments? It's like Zelle, Venmo.
What's the difference between Elon Musk and a central bank?
Bars.
Seriously, I love Elon. I love Tesla. I love SpaceX. He's done some really great things. Nobody can deny that. But when it comes to Bitcoin, everybody knows that Elon has, he doesn't like it. And I think it's partially because maybe he never got a big enough stack. Maybe he just didn't stack enough Bitcoin, and now he's salty that he didn't get in early enough like Saylor did. Maybe that's why he pivoted to Doge. That's why he's trying to make his own shitcoin on X. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the difference is.
I think that this is exposing in real time platforms over protocols. At the end of the day, Twitter's a business and Twitter has to make money, and you just don't get to clip fees when you have Bitcoin. The lowest common denominator on Bitcoin is no fees, actually peer-to-peer. And when you introduce that protocol into something, you're losing massive streams of revenue. Visa's probably going to pay $1 billion in whether it be in interchange fees or exchange fees or just in referral fees or whatever it may be. And the only way they can do that is through their centralized censorship garbage. And I think that just like communication got way better when we decentralized, went to more of a protocol-driven communication away from a platform-driven communication, our money is also getting way better on a protocol-driven money versus a platform-driven money. X money is going to fail. They are too late. The time for centralized payments was 10, 15 years ago. PayPal, he should have kept with PayPal if he wanted to do the everything app in a platform-centric fashion. But at this point, it's done. Centralized payments are over. If you are not integrating directly with the peer-to-peer blockchain, the peer-to-peer money protocol in Bitcoin, you're just going to lose. I think that, frankly, Nostr with Zaps is infinitely better than some X money, changing blockchains. I got WBTC. I'm using Visa. Visa's banning me because I said the wrong thing on Twitter. Social credit score. There's just misaligned incentives the whole way down this track. And again, moving towards protocol-driven communication and protocol-driven money is the win at the end of the day.
Yeah, it really, not to be the full tinfoil hat Bitcoiner on the show, which I am. It really does seem like X money is just kind of laying the groundwork for the Western social credit scores going on, especially connecting your social media to your money. Guys, if this is the case, I'm literally going to be completely unbanked. I think I'm I know my social credit score right now is probably
club,
very low, very low over there. If this gets implemented worldwide, or at least on, the nation state level here in the US, and it kind of takes over like Twitter's kind of doing as a social media app, I think a lot of us Bitcoiners are going to be so wrecked. We're going to be forced to use Bitcoin no matter what. It's not just going to be our option. It's going to be our necessity to survive. But yeah, it is very crazy when you kind of look at the dichotomies we're seeing from Tesla and Twitter, both Musk companies kind of doing two different things in the same regards. We have Tesla doubling down on the FASB accounting rules. They're benefiting from Bitcoin gains, and then on the flip side, it looks like they're omitting Bitcoin from these payments apps. So hey, we'll keep you guys up to date.
Both things pointing towards the same, which is just Elon wanting to prop up the business. Yeah. And I think that, and to be fair and play the other side, I saw a comment earlier that was like, or the tweet we showed was like, oh, if they would have just held Bitcoin, they would have been up more. And fair enough, but I think that they probably had to spend the Bitcoin to build the Gigafactory. When you build a Gigafactory and then, it launched into product, that's what Bitcoin is there for. The point of Bitcoin is not just to hold Bitcoin and live in your cardboard box. The point is to be able to innovate and bring new things to the world and add more value to the world, invest in yourself and all that good stuff.
Yeah, but he said that he was selling because Tesla couldn't be aligned with Bitcoin due to environmental concerns, which was a lie. And he's lying again. And he's lying again when he says that this is going to be a peer-to-peer money. There's only 100%. One peer-to-peer money. Actually, there's two. There's Cash and there's Bitcoin.
But even Cash is reliant on
exactly
like a third party, because you have to authenticate it and you have to have a government that's backing it. So yeah, no, I totally.
There you go. I stand corrected. So if he would have said, "I'm selling my Bitcoin because I want to build a Gigafactory," my respects. Love that, because I love Teslas. I think they're the coolest cars out there in the market. But he literally sold it. Tesla cannot be associated because there are environmental concerns, and so
exactly.
Yeah.
Until it's captured.
That's not cool. Like, and he, I remember like the FUD that he spread, like, was kind of correlated there with the price going down and everything. So, I don't think that's cool. And then pumping Doge by saying that that's like a superior crypto or whatever. Like, I'm not for that. And if he, again, like if he had done it to sell, like to make like something better for the world, that's great. But He doesn't. And it really offends me actually that he's lying when he says that X is going to have a peer-to-peer. It's like you're insulting people's intelligence. You're insulting all of Bitcoin Twitter who knows what real peer-to-peer technology is. And it's not this. When Visa is involved in the middle, when there is a central bank that is controlling the currency, you are not inventing or providing a peer-to-peer service on your platform. You're actually just a shitcoiner.
Bars.
Get him. The chat saying get him. All right, cooking. Well, it is interesting here. Before I move on, and we're going to talk about Bitcoin. Well, it's funny seeing, I would say Nico's better half just like going in on Elon, and Nico loves Elon. So it's just funny. I love really
Elon
funny
too, but like somebody's got to put him in his place.
Sophie's the real Bitcoiner though, because it's like, but here's the thing. Listen up. When we, as Bitcoiners, we have to stop idolizing people. The quote, never meet your heroes, is because all of your heroes fail you because they're only in it for themselves. Elon is no exception. I also love Elon. I think what he's done, for humanity is amazing. And I also love his cars, and I think his products are incredible. However, I don't put him on some pedestal like he can do no wrong. We have to be okay disagreeing with our heroes. We have to be okay, having someone idolizing or looking at someone in a positive light and having them change, having our values change, and being okay with moving that. And again, talking about aligned incentives, Bitcoin enables you to do that. So I think, the moral of the story is adopt Bitcoin and don't idolize people.
Yeah, turn yourself into your own hero. I love that. I love that.
Yes.
All right. Let's pivot here and let's talk about what Adam's been working on. It's been a minute, man. So we're gonna go into the culture and talk about Bitcoin. Well, there's a lot of surprises. I got a little sneak peek of some stuff, but we can't fully sneak peek some stuff. So we're gonna just talk about things that have happened. All right, let's get into it.
I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, HIVE Digital Technologies. As the first ever public miner, HIVE's been battle tested through every possible market. And as the first with an AI strategy, HIVE continues to redefine the future of sustainable energy. Also, gotta casually drop this in here, HIVE consistently tops the industry in Bitcoin mined per exahash. They're lean and mean, they're green and clean, and they're changing the game. Learn more by following them at HIVE Digital Tech or check out their website, hivedigitaltech.com.
All right, guys, before we hit Bitcoin, well, we got to plug BitBlockBoom. This is our favorite conference because this is where Simply Bitcoin was born from. This is where all cool people show up. We go hang out in the lobby. We get some good barbecue. Make sure you get to Dallas April 3rd through April 6th. Come join us at BitBlockBoom. Of course, if you aren't going to make it, you don't want to spend some sats on the conference, we will be streaming this. The whole Simply Bitcoin team will be there. We'll have the news desk. But make sure you get down there, guys. It's in Dallas this year. It's going to be great. Use the promo code BBB21. I repeat, BBB21 for $100 off your tickets. All right.
Hang on. Listen to Ofty. Just subtle mention of the Texas barbecue the Tennessee barbecue. Holy smokes. A hometown boy.
I am biased here. I thought I used to know what good barbecue was. Now I realize it's Texas barbecue above all.
Just for everyone watching, I got to Ofty and I were hanging out in Nashville at the Bitcoin conference.
That's funny.
And we went for barbecue multiple times, and this man was salty every single time, being like, "Nah, this ain't real. This is way worse. What are these people? You can't even call this barbecue." So I don't know.
This barbecue's mid. Adam's like, "Is this good barbecue?" I'm like, "No, this is mid. Like, it's delicious, obviously, but it's just not. It just doesn't. I don't know what they do here. They just know how to make barbecue in Texas. So hey, it is what it is." All right. Anyways, let's talk about Bitcoin. Well, so Adam, man, how you been? Good to have you back on the show. We're super hyped about, working with you guys, partnering with you guys. I think 2025 is going to be a huge year, not just for us here, Bitcoin Well and Simply Bitcoin, but for Bitcoin in general. But man, you guys have been working really hard behind the scenes. So I know you do have some, maybe you can do a live demo for people, but man, just teeing you up, bro. How is everything going on over there at Bitcoin Well? And then you can rant. And then I know, actually, before you do that, guys, get your Lightning wallets out because Adam wants to give you guys some sats.
Oh, yeah.
So before you go rant,
I want to pull up your.
No. You rant so they can get ready. So they'll have the wallets, and then we'll pull it up.
Yeah, listen. So I saw comments earlier, which actually teed it up perfectly. Bitcoin is your bank, and we were like, yeah, we also believe this. As you know, I am debanked. I don't get a bank account here in Canada. But I'm also lucky that I get paid in Bitcoin immediately. And so one of the things that we're trying to balance is how do you allow Bitcoin in self-custody to be your bank? And there's two ways. One, you got to handle the outflows. How do you live your life, and how do you spend Bitcoin to actually be able to pay for your life? But the first thing you need is to be able to receive Bitcoin from your employer. I don't know about you guys, but half of our province here in Alberta is working for like oil and gas companies, and they are decades away, it seems like, from paying their people in Bitcoin. So we wanted to give our customers a way to send their paychecks to Bitcoin Well, and then have Bitcoin automatically sent to their self-custody instantly, right away, the second we get paid, which effectively allows you to get paid in Bitcoin. This is on our mission towards replacing your bank with Bitcoin Well. I do not want you exposed to the confines of Bank of America or to, whatever garbage policies, the bank of the day is going to have. And so the way to do that is to circumvent the banks completely. We want you to be able to send your paychecks to Bitcoin Well and then receive Bitcoin in self-custody. And so we've launched direct deposit. And direct deposit looks like this. It's this little tab on the left-hand side here. When you click that, you set how much Bitcoin you want on each and every paycheck that you get. You can have 60% Bitcoin. You can go 5 or 0% Bitcoin, but I strongly recommend going 100% Bitcoin, obviously, because we're not fiat maxis, we're Bitcoin maxis, and Bitcoin maxi means 100%. But of course, you do whatever is kind of like going to be the right thing for you and your family, stacking off of your paycheck. Next, you set which Bitcoin wallet you want to send to. And when you send it to a Bitcoin wallet, you then click your direct deposit info, and your direct deposit info is going to be this is kind of like a fake account. So I'm just, mocking this up here, but it looks like this. So you get your direct deposit info, and you send this to your employer, whoever sends you your paychecks, whoever sends you money, really. You can even send, frankly, you could send this from one of your other banks as well. But they send your paychecks to these account numbers, and then boom, Bitcoin gets sent instantly to self-custody. The second we get that money, it's gone, it's out, and sent to self-custody. So you effectively get to live on Bitcoin. You get to adopt a Bitcoin standard. We started having this problem, especially here in Canada, where it's like the banks are telling our customers what they can and cannot spend their money on. Some of our banks are saying, you cannot send money to Bitcoin Well because we don't want you buying Bitcoin. And I'm like, okay, let's just get rid of the banks entirely. Let's go direct from employer straight to Bitcoin. And then, we'll send the rest to your bank because we don't decide who gets your money or not. It's your money and you can spend it however you want. So that's what we're stoked on right now. And highly recommend you go get direct deposit set up. Just set a recurring stack, 10%, 15%, 20%, 100%. Buy Bitcoin, be rich, I guess.
Let's go. Choose rich, as the meme goes. Hey, so there's a couple comments in the chat, and as I always like to tell you and joke with you, so this is available in the only country that matters, correct?
So generally,
hold on, Adam. The actual question is this available in New York State?
Yes, it is available in New York State. All 50 states can benefit from this. The limits are going to look a little bit different in New York State. I think they're $5,000 rather than 15. But I have to check on that. But yeah, all 50 states, we are, obviously working hard to make sure that you know, I think it's really dumb, and I cannot believe what New York State. There's 3 problem states in the U.S. and it's shocking to me how brutal and all the stuff that you have to go through to be there. But yes, available in New York State. Yeah, basically anyone in the USA can have their paychecks immediately converted to Bitcoin and sent straight to self-custody. That's set it and forget it, man. You go to work, you grind in the fiat mines, and you come home with Bitcoin and self-custody. This is the future that I want my kids to see. And as you guys know, this is what I build for. People are always like, oh, how do you get where does the inspiration come from for Bitcoin well? Or, this mantra of being able to actually replace your bank with Bitcoin well. And I'm like, I'm just building what I need. I'm building what I want my kids to have access to. And that's work hard, get paid in Bitcoin, spend as little as possible. This is the Bitcoin standard, baby.
Let's go. All right. Well, I'm going to pull up the wishing well right now, but I don't know.
Oh,
Adam, Yeah. Go on.
On the wishing well note, just while you guys are getting your Lightning wallets ready, also, you can now add your NPub to your Bitcoin well account.
Oh, let's go.
Straight up.
Wow.
It does nothing right now, but we are actively investigating ways to integrate the Nostr protocol. It's kind of funny. We were talking about the Elon. There's 210. We got to keep going until we get a good one, though.
Yeah. I'll keep it going.
So obviously, we were talking about Elon and the Everything app and X Money and all that stuff. It's kind of funny that Bitcoin well actually has a chance to accidentally turn into this way because we're so focused on independence and so focused on Bitcoin and self-custody. With the Nostr protocol, we could just integrate your feed into your money app. You could really have, there we go, 2100. It's happening. Feels like the well is primed. We could have and integrate ways that your Nostr account is actually able to even buy Bitcoin. You could, there's a world where you could just send a DM and buy Bitcoin straight from your bank account, or, pay your rent with Bitcoin straight that way. So I think that we're pretty pumped on ways to integrate the Nostr protocol, but, we're going to need help from the community. How do you want to use Nostr in your Bitcoin well account? So please go add your NPub, follow us on Nostr, primal.net /Bitcoin well. You can go primal.net/Adam if you want to follow me. And not social credit. Explicitly not social credit.
My social credit, not good. Explicitly not social credit. Actually, there's a Canadian here, VMAT. He says, when will this be available in Canada? I'm guessing it should be available there.
Yeah, no, not yet in Canada. We're working on that.
Adam's listening to me. Do it in America first.
Now, I felt like our US product was falling behind, and so we had to spend some time and get Opti off my back, basically. But listen, we are actively working on this in Canada as well. We want everyone in North America to be able to work hard, stack Bitcoin in self-custody, and then spend as little as they can. And I think that, one step towards just replace your bank with Bitcoin well. This is something that we are constantly talking about here in the office, is how do you replace your bank with Bitcoin well? And it looks like Opti's on a bad streak. So go sign up. I think if you use your ref code Opti, I think you get five free wishing well coin.
Are we shilling? So. We're shit. All right, let me. I'm going to show our Bitcoin well right now in the chat. Let's do this.
Or you could use bitcoinwell.com/Adam.
No, don't do that.
That would also be fine. But
no, do not do that. Do not do that. Sign up to this one. It's in the chat.
And then also, actually, Kay, while you're here, Opti, so check this out. So when you go here in your account, you can add a Lightning address, you legitimately get paid. Let me show you. So I'm just using a custodial Lightning wallet for my ref payments, and my payments going out are literally ref payments. I wonder if you can see this. And then also look up here. You can see Lightning cats, because my kids and I have been feeding these cats on the Lightning network, which has been
oh my god, that's hilarious. Awesome. That is so cool.
Shout out lightningcats.io, because you can go and spend 500 sats in this. Like my 4 kids, it's becoming a weekly ritual where we just basically sit down.
Have you seen TV. Lightning goats?
Yes, same concept. Yeah. We do both of them. It's unbelievable. So yeah, that's what I use lots of my ref payments for, is for feeding the cats and the goats. But straight up, like every time your referral uses their account, you get 10% of whatever we make on the transaction sent straight to your Lightning address. And that can obviously be custodial.
Right.
You know, you could use your Nostr Zaps address, but I recommend go to your own node. You know, get a payment address, hook it up to your node, and then send your referred sats right there. It's just like, it's the number one way, in my opinion, to just have passive. You get to orange pill people, you get to refer them to the safest Bitcoin platform on the planet, and then you get to earn sats to self-custody. I mean, let's go.
Wow, safest Bitcoin platform on the planet. I love that. I'm gonna steal that one with my ads. Anyways, Adam, I know you have to run right now, but I know I can't actually do this, and we can't really talk about it, but you did sneak peek some stuff to me Monday that I know our audience is super excited about. They've been yelling at us about it for months now. So
should we just drop it? We should reward. I mean, someone's been listening to us yap for an hour and a half.
I mean, this is your company. Do we have to cut through red tape here, or are you going to just sneak peek it? I know it's coming. You told me it's coming soon. So hey,
I don't have the visuals ready. I can maybe pull them up here. Let's see. But we've been hearing a lot. I mean, part of this direct deposit was a response to lots of the comments we've been getting. People want to stack, and they want to stack frequently. And so let me see if I can get it here. Basically, we've been working pretty hard over the last, well, it feels like for the last 10 years, but really the last probably 10 weeks, we've been putting together the right steps so that you can have, and here we'll look at this. Okay.
Wow, he's going to do it. He's going to tease it. He's going to tease it.
We're going to do it. So that you can get recurring buy on the Bitcoin Well platform. Basically going to add, so first of all, we're jazzing it up. It's going to look absolutely beautiful. Adding in a little bit of purple. Purple is royalty, and you know, Bitcoin is royalty here. But then adding the ability to set up, you know, you click that one-time button, you're going to be sort of weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly buys, you know, straight from your bank, going straight to your self-custody. And then off we go. And so I'm showing this to Opti on Monday, and Opti's like, yo, why no daily? You know, if you look at this, it's like one time, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. Why no daily? And that's because we're also going to be adding this Lightning protocol here. So that once we get Lightning integrated, you're going to be able to buy daily Bitcoin straight from your Bitcoin Well balance. And you're going to be able to, have that sent straight to your Lightning wallet immediately. And that's the way. So recurring buy and Lightning coming soon to Bitcoin Well. You can go to bitcoinwell.com. What's your ref code /simplybtc or something like that?
Yeah.
Whatever it is. I think /Adam is what it was actually. You can go use that one.
No, it's simply BTC. Simply BTC.
But definitely, you know, sign up. We love seeing you guys push us. And I love personally when we've got Simply Bitcoin viewers, you know, that like DM me and push me harder and say, yo, the app's, you know, doing something weird. We got to get this fixed. We're building for you guys. We want to enable independence. That's our number one goal. And having the support from all you plebs is number one. So thank you all very much. And let's go Team Bitcoin.
Let's go. Absolutely awesome. Well, Adam, I know you have to pop off, so we'll just wrap up today's show. Adam, thank you for coming on. For the audio
Thanks for coming,
listeners,
Adam.
Yeah, for the audio listeners, let's plug your Twitter, and then we'll wrap it up, and we'll see you next time, man.
Yo, yeah, Adam O'Brien _ on Twitter, or primal.net/Adam on Nostr.
Let's go. All right, Adam. Well, thanks for coming on. Super excited for everything you guys are doing and about to do. And now maybe they'll stop complaining so much in the chat over here.
No more chat complaining.
Yeah, and they'll stop yelling at me.
Keep complaining. Just give us new things to complain about so we can always be improving. This is the way.
Let's go. All right, Adam. Well, guys. Thank you, bro. Peace out. We'll see you next time. Okay. Wow. Choking on my saliva over here.
Opti, is this the after show?
Yeah. So, hey, look, we're going to wrap up right now, but Sophie has been saying that we should do like an after show after the show where we just sit here and talk, but you guys,
because that's literally what we do. Opti,
Yeah.
like we cut, we do the da da da, and then Opti and I just sit here and chat for like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
about
but
nothing.
I think you guys would tune out. So on that
Yeah.
note, Sophie, thank you for coming on 2 days in a row. It looks like the chat loves you more than Nico, so maybe we got to fire Nico.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
But hey,
I think they're just awestruck
Yeah,
by a
yeah.
woman in
I know.
Bitcoin.
Maybe this
There's
is the
many
year they
of
get
us out there.
girlfriends. Maybe they get girlfriends this year, and they won't simp so hard for Sophie over here. But
There
maybe
you
we
go.
gotta
Number
bring...
go up, girlfriends go up.
Yes, that's the
Simping go
hashtag.
down.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe we gotta bring you back with Nico on the show again. We
For
should
sure.
we should do that. Okay. Well, so
For sure.
thank you so much for filling in last minute. We were actually supposed to have Dante on today, but shit happens, guys. So we got Sophie, the illustrious internet Sophie, on today. Anyway, so thank you so much. Hang out while I wrap this up.
All right, y'all. Have a good weekend. See you Monday. Peace out.
Let's go. All right, guys. You already know the deal. We stream live Monday through Friday at 12:25. The show goes live at 12:16, but we usually go live, a couple minutes late. You guys can yell at me all you want, whatever. Anyways, we love you. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow. Last stream of the week with just me. Nico will be back on Monday. He's currently in El Salvador at the Plan B Forum. So we're going to get some good content coming out of the conference. But until then, we'll see you tomorrow, and have a good rest of your day. We love you guys. Peace out.
Today's episode was brought to you by BitcoinWell.com, a Bitcoin-only platform on a mission to enable financial independence.